What's up, y'all? How you doing? This is your boy Gerald. It is November 9th, 2013. Where has this year gone? You blink twice, we're going to be sitting at the Thanksgiving table. You turn left, turn right, you're going to be going through doing your Christmas shopping. Is that incredible or what? Well, it's a nice crisp day here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. About to start my day. Got my little coffee going, you know me, I gotta have my bean. Gotta do it. But while I was out and about this morning, something touched my spirit that I wanted to share with you. See, this past week, I don't know, maybe it may have not affected you, but I noticed for the last 2 weeks, I was placed in a period of review. And what I mean by that is the people that are associated to my life. Those are your extensions. These people are the people that should have a like-minded emotional mindset as you. You share that duality with these people, maybe your business, professional, or social environment. So, it's been a profound learning experience, but with everything, you're supposed to look at it in sound mind. So I wanted to put this video out for you. See, we've all been there, and I'm not making light of this, but I truly believe that now is the time that you embrace who you are. It's time for you to stop running from yourself. Yes, I'm putting it out there. Stop running from yourself. You've allowed the fears and uncertainties in your life to not only distract you of clarity, but possibly block you from seeing your purpose, seeing the things that are intended for you to claim. As a result of that, you've ran into a lot of confusion through the interactions of the connections that you have in your environment, and it is unsettling. Let me tell you something. It is time that you hold space. It is time for you to put it all out there on the table, and not only get real with yourself, but define your environment. And with that, that doesn't mean that the things that we hold dear, at times we can be passionate, we can show aggression. It depends on how it manifests from your connection of who you are. And I know that there are some people that are tired of being tired. They're tired of feeling that your voice is not being heard. And the only way that you can be validated, which you validate yourself, no one else does that. They enhance what you put out there. But there's something in your spirit to say, hey, I can't go on down this road. I can't continue this. I can't embody this environment because it doesn't feel right within me. So now you're feeling like your back is to a wall. And everybody knows, just like a dog or an animal, if you put an animal on a wall where it has no options, it is going to defend itself for survivability. This is when we see uncertainty, chaos, downright ugliness comes out, because it's a regurgitation of what emanated within ourselves. So, okay, let me cut to the chase, because I know some of you are like, girl, I feel you, but here's my thing. The person that you are, truly who you are, is demanding you to not take a position that you once did out of convenience, because you felt that you didn't, if you didn't take a backseat in your approach, that, you know, your environment would either, number one, dispel anything that's about you, or downright not give you the proper respect. And I think that that's an environment that a lot of people were having to deal with as a challenge, because you care about the things that matter to you, right? That's why that's what you embody, that's what you embrace. But it is also a required balance that needs to be fortified, because that's what validates who you are, what you stand for. But somewhere along the road, yes, somewhere along in your life, something happened that you didn't see, and it knocked you on your butt. It knocked you in your butt, and all you want to do is get up and reset. Let me tell you something. If you're in a position where you are reflecting in your life, and because of you've made decisions that were basically based off of emotions, emotional triggers, and unfortunately because of the fact that at that moment when you made those decisions, it didn't yield a positive outcome, and you're dealing with what you're feeling is shame. You feel not validated. It challenges your self-worth and value. Let me tell you something. I want you to understand this loud and clear. You are a human being. And because you are a human being, before you was even born, it was deemed that you are going to make mistakes. You're not perfect. But whatever challenges or choices that you made in your development has had a grave effect on how you think. So it's very important that you change the perceptions, because you realize those perceptions don't work. It's like as if you're living through someone else's views or eyes. You understand what I'm saying? It is important that you live the life that is destined. That is why you have your name. Nothing just happens by chance. It's divinely meant. But for you to have the clarity that you need, you have to go within. Have courage. Because see, when you go within yourself and do the work that is required, not only will it show you, because you're embracing your discernment. And for some people that don't know what discernment is, that is your spiritual connection to your higher power. My higher power is my Lord Jesus Christ. It took me 25 years of trying to do it on my own to realize that I couldn't. It wasn't that I was afraid of failing. What was blocking me from finding that peace and harmony within myself was my pride, was my ego. Let me tell you something. If you live your life with your ego directing your steps, let me tell you what happens. For those people that choose to go that route, you have already decided, more or less at this point, that you don't want to be happy. You have opened a door for every setback intended to come. And you know what happens to those people that do not see their worth and they don't check that pride and ego? Now, there's a difference between being proud and pride. Because being proud is you taking a step for betterment, and it's validating you because you have faith to do it. You did it because you felt that. You felt that purpose within yourself, and that gave you the ability to walk in unfamiliar territory, to take the road less traveled. I tell everybody, one of my favorite poems is Robert Frost's The Road Less Traveled. That's your life. So, my queens, my kings, whatever that you may have done in your journey that has brought you to feel guilt, feel some shame, that has caused you to feel like you can't lift your head up, let me tell you something. It is time today. Let it be today. It is time for you to stop running from yourself. Because no one can live your life for you. And keep in mind this, y'all. Because I'm telling you, because everybody have gone down that road. See, no one can live your life but you. But life does not owe you nothing. Life owes you nothing. So, if you're taking a position of convenience to play the victim card and saying, you know, it was because of society and, you know, ain't nobody out to get you but yourself. You gotta own your life. If you're not willing to own your life, how can you own their blessings? So you gotta, whatever that challenge is, you gotta have courage to face it. Because if you do not, you're basically saying, hey, my self-worth and value is not worth the blessings that are intended for my life. You weren't brought on this planet to suffer. You weren't. You are supposed to walk in harmony, in peace, in love. Why? Because your higher power, I know him as my Lord Jesus Christ, is love. Unconditional love. And guess what? Even every challenge that you may have gone through, he was right there. But until you allow him in your life. Because see, here's a funny thing. And I'm going to say this out. I'm going to put this out there to my kings. My kings. Don't believe that BS the society has convinced your lineage, our generations. See, somewhere along the way, society taught our parents that a man is not supposed to embrace his emotional self. But here's the irony of that. Our queens need that. Because they rationalize their decisions and choices through emotion. And all they want to do is feel safe in their environment. So therefore, if you're not emotionally consistent, how can she feel safe in you? How can she? And she can't do that until you make the determination to know who you are. You are not defined by the choices you made, even though they may have not been in the best interest. Let me tell you something. Your whole purpose on this planet is to evolve through connections of other people. That's why we learn how we learn. That's why we emulate what we see. That's why, depending on what our position is in that moment of our development, is embraced by influence. Because let me tell you something. People just don't up and do things. They must first be inspired. They must be inspired. So therefore, that thought must come from somewhere that has been manifested, right? Now, if you don't believe this, I want to let you know something. The devil is real. He is the ultimate opportunist. The reason why he exists is because he wants to undermine everything that is done by God's hands. Why? Because he don't love himself. And that's why he has dominion where he does. If you realize what I just described, that is what a hater does. Haven't you noticed every time that you did something in the best interest of you, that was pure, there was always someone that had to criticize it? The reason why they do it, and I think it was Cat Williams that said it long ago, a hater's job is never done. The reason why they exist, because they don't have the courage to do it themselves. But they don't have the tenacity to embrace the influence, which is fostered by what? Change. Some people are so terrified to embrace their lives, they will stay in that abyss of uncertainty and fear. I'm gonna shift this, and what I got to say on this one, I gotta smoke a cigarette. I know, ladies, I know, kings, it's not good for you. I'm battling. I'm not perfect. I strive to be a good man. I know what it takes to be a good man. That's a journey that every person must go when it's divinely meant. That's why you go through certain seasons in life. And it's validated when you see that season come back. And that may be manifested through a connection that you had, be it from a personal or business or social. Haven't you noticed when you are on a certain path, and then all of a sudden, lo and behold, somebody that knew you once then comes back in your life like they just stepped into the room, like, whoa, I ain't seen you. Where you? You wish them well, but then it comes out of their mouth. You're like, wait a minute. You the same way when I knew you, which shows they haven't grown, which means their mind or mental space has not expanded. See, I mean, listen, my queens, some of you, and I say this, some are still holding a burden from an interaction that you had with somebody that caused you great pain. And it was so intense, it changed your perception on how you see other men. Let me tell you something. No man has control over your happiness. You dictate that. You hear me? That goes for you too, kings. You define your happiness. But there's a responsibility that must come with that. You can't allow just anyone to have access to your life. That's why when you turn around and drop your guard, and then instead of going A to Z, you jump to W, and then things happen and you shook. Because there was a lesson You had to learn. And unfortunately, life doesn't have a graduation scale. And that's why there are certain challenges that we deal with on a habitual cycle. You know, that's why, like, for example, and I hate to sound trivial, but this is the only way I can describe it right now. That's like women, when you take the position of saying all men are bad. You can't make that. Is so across the board. But when you make a statement like that, what you're saying is, I don't want to take ownership in my choices in my life, who I decide to have access. When you should look at it as, well, you know what? Maybe there's some things I need to adjust in myself so I don't put myself in a position of vulnerability. Because unfortunately, yes, that devil, he's gonna play on your mind. He's gonna play on your heart. He's gonna use those emotional triggers to get you back into that misery that you once were in. But here's the kicker. Usually, it's not with the same event or person. It's someone else. I could give you a Christmas present that has a rock in it, and you open it up and you're disappointed, and I could turn around and give you another box, different wrapping, different size, and give it to you again. Your expectations should be different, but when you open that box, it's the same thing. It's because you see that same perpetual cycle because you have not gauged putting boundaries. Yes. You have to own your life. No one can do that for you. There's somebody right now. There's somebody right now, you will never admit it. From the outside to the world, you seem courageous and you're very vocal about how you express your emotions and when you communicate. But you're one of the biggest broken persons that walk on this planet, like a hard-boiled egg, hard on the outside, soft inside. Why? Because you have not released yourself from the pain that your parents caused you. Yeah, I went there. Unfortunately, we don't have permission to pick our parents. We don't. You know, unfortunately, some people have gone through things that were unfortunate. But it is not your responsibility to relive it every day. To feel that pain every day. Because what you fail to realize is this. It is affecting the way you make your decisions. Come on now, I know I'm talking to somebody. Because your mama wasn't in your life as you wanted her to be, doesn't mean that gives you a life sentence to do the same things that she did. Because guess what? Until you take ownership to release yourself from that pain, you will end up becoming the things you resent. Ain't your life worth more than that? Come on now. I know I'm talking about somebody. I know I am. I know I am. That doesn't give you a lease on life to walk around and spew vindictiveness and spite because your son's father was immature. Oh, I know I got somebody now. Oh, he was like that Christmas box. The wrapping looked good, but the content was not there. And it got you shook. It got you pissed off. But think of this. There's a ray of hope with everything. And I feel this in my spirit. When you decide to take that negative energy that you have because you got left holding the bag and put some love in that, your whole environment will change. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, because we all have free will. We have free will. No one can do anything you won't allow. They don't. They can't. You know, when you person, like for example, when a person say, well, I went out with that girl and something just happened. No, what just happened is you wanted to sleep with that girl. You wanted him to sleep with you. Otherwise, it would be assault, right? No one can do nothing you won't allow. You got to take ownership on that. But that does not define who you are. Don't get it twisted. And even in the chaos of that, even in the midst of that garbage, there was still a blessing. Because as you were seeing the negative effects of a choice, and it was a choice, you also saw what was lacking. So really that was a blessing, depending on how soon you decided to embrace it for what it is. But here's the beautiful thing about that. All things can change, except for death. So yes, can people change? Yes, they can. But they got to be willing to do the work themselves. You cannot, and yes, my queens, I'm not putting you on blast, but if you are seeking, first of all, you shouldn't be seeking a man in the first. Stop doing that, because you're going against the divine will. It's not your place to seek a man out. I don't care what materially you have embraced. It doesn't matter. As it was written in that book, it said, when God seeketh a woman, it is good. I'm paraphrasing it, but basically, God intended it to be a certain way. That's why when you take it upon yourself, when you decide to allow your ego and your pride to blind your judgment, you end up getting hurt. Why? Because you didn't see your self-worth. Why do you think we call you queens? What does a queen do? She sits in regalness. She governs her dominion of her life. And until she has what is required for her to feel emotionally safe, she will never embrace a king. Doesn't matter how many suitors come along. So why are you settling? Why are you settling for the life that ain't yours? Because that's what settling is. You're choosing to take the easy road. Baby girl, let me tell you something. It's time for you to embrace the beautiful, the person you are. Listen, let me tell you something. Because I'm getting a little emotional. I'm getting a little, and I'm looking at this clock. Some of you don't even tell yourself you love yourself. You take on a mindset like a man. Because society says man is not supposed to be emotional, because if he's emotional, he's acting like a girl. Let me tell you something. You have a left brain and a right brain for a reason. Why? To balance your mind. And aren't you supposed to have a logical mindset? If you didn't, if you're only using one aspect, you're going to get a lopsided outcome. So, I'm going to tell you something. That's just like you being in you got relationship issues, right? And you taking advice from your girlfriend who ain't in a relationship. You got to look at it for what it is. Now, I'm not disrespecting her, because maybe her intentions are loving. But why are you basing her knowledge and her template when it doesn't match yours. Because if she was applying what she actually speaks of her truth, will she be in a relationship? Or worse, she may turn around to try to discourage you because she wants your man. It's a cold world, but it happens. It happens. That's why it's important for you to discern. You can apply that on your job. If you're allowing people to be in your ear, always got something to say about someone else, what they would do and what they won't do. If I was this, I was that, but they're not the ones standing up to take the lead to bring change. They're trying to set you up for the clip. It's what we used to call in the military a calculated casualty. Someone got to take the hit, but it's never them. But also, that's what a backslider does too. Now, I'm not trying to sound judging, but I'm putting it what it is. So, to bring this around the bend, my family, my kings, my queens, those who are listening to the sound of my voice, it is now time to stop running from yourself. It is time for you to embrace your fears and work through them one at a time. That's just like having, that's just like, you know, when you bought that luggage 4 or 5 years ago, and it's beat to hell. It's beat up, it's ugly, but it's still functionality, but it's yours. But because your pride and ego, you won't throw it out in the dumpster because you know somebody's going to scoop it up. Why? Because your ego say, I better hold on to this. I better hold on to it. Look at yourself that way. You are priceless. Your life is not intended to be in misery. This goes out to you, my queen. Stop crying. Some of you have a good heart, and you go out into the world to do what's required to earn that income and hold it together long enough to get in the car to take that mask off and cry yourself. You going through an emotional breakdown. The reason why you feeling this energy right now, because your spirit is saying it is time for you to deal with it, not run away from it. Have courage. Lastly, you define your name. No one else can do that. The energy and the perception that you give out to the world is defined by you. If you have negative influences that do not see your worth, that do not want to grow with you, you have to make the cognitive decision to take the road less traveled. They do not see your worth at this time, and they have the audacity to call you out of your name. Stop that foolishness. Your name, excuse me, Lord, your name ain't bitch. Your name ain't hoe. You're not a trick. You're a queen. And this is spoken from a man. Because please believe, my queens, there's a lot of us out here that love you. We love you. But it's up to you to define who you are. What you put out to the world is, unfortunately, put in review. If you don't want a man to see you in a certain light, don't put the example out there for them to more or less judge it. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you something. Unfortunately, in the world that we live in, just as God will bring people in your life, God will bring people from their past, from your past, as well as you will meet people in the future, all there to help you grow. And these people have stakes in your life to help you along your transition. Because you're not the person that you're going to be in the future. You're not that person that was from your past. Just so happened, this is where you are right now. So when someone has the audacity to try to disrespect you, first of all, they do that because there's something about them that they're fearful about, that they don't want you to see, because they don't have the courage to change it. So if they take a position of negativity to keep you at bay, then they know that they've got a little time to work with. Well, guess what? We all have the ability to change our outside world, but it starts within ourselves. Do you feel me? So if you're in an environment where it has no growth, respect yourself more. Respect yourself more. Because your environment should reciprocate who you are. There should be a constant desire to evolve, but that takes time. But that can't happen until you allow yourself to be vulnerable. I had someone very dear to me say, "Oh, I don't like using that word because that means you're willing to be exposed." See, first of all, that's where your discernment comes into play. And if you properly have boundaries in your life, you'll never get taken advantage of, because you decide what and how access to your life is governed. But my queens, my kings, especially my kings, because you made decisions and choices that you felt that may have compromised your life. Your life ain't over until you take your last breath. So stop allowing the negative energy, that is fear, to dictate your tomorrow. Stop it. Okay? See that mosquito? I see it too. I'm like, what you doing? You ain't paying right here. But no, but we need to talk about this. We need to do what's right. We got 2014. But that sucker got away, didn't he? He did. I missed it. Anyway. I'm patient. I'll get her. Mosquito. Why is there mosquitoes and it's cold outside? Everything has a purpose. But not to get distracted, you're gonna have 2014 is gonna be your breakout year. It is. And just know this, for every setback, there is a period of review that happens so growth can be fostered. Clarity can be made, revealed. But no one's going to do it but you. Nobody. I don't care. Queens, my queens. Stop listening to pipe dreams. If it's meant for you to have, why ain't you doing the work to have it? That's what validates who you are. If you are going through life like this, you know what you're going to get? A pocket full of nothing. and it'll be validated with time wasted. Stop doing that. Stop looking at what you see on TV as a template for your life. Everything that you see on that TV is scripted, and it's there to influence your mind. Don't you realize? Come on now. Don't y'all realize there's a spiritual attack going on? And the main target is our children. Come on now. Haven't you noticed that? It's that way because they couldn't get away with it 30 years ago. But because they used the term shock and awe, they can put it out there like, okay, it is what it is. I don't care. Once again, that Christmas box. That's why it's very important that we as people take responsibility to what access we give and what we retain. I mean, really, if they really wanted you to really grow into your rightful place, why isn't there any positive? Why does it seem there's more negativity used than positivity? And the things that are positive, they only come on like at dark 30. They do that because they don't want the masses to see it. Come on now. They don't care about women. They only want your money. They want you to disrespect yourself. Just like a bunch of sheep. You ain't no sheep. You're a queen. That's why you see the videos made the way they are. That's why you have some women that say, well, you know what? I want a bad boy. Don't you know the hardest thing that you could ever do is be a good guy? Because that bad boy is here. But if you see your worth, nah. That's why, you know how they say good guys finish last? They don't. Bad boys do, because they never stick around. So don't let your life be the stopping point. Define your worth with grace. With grace. You don't have to raise your voice to be heard, because that's all you're doing when you do that. You're basically saying, I feel emotionally unsafe, so I need to get attention by all means. You better start loving yourself. Because if you're not, you're playing yourself. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. And that goes for you too, my kings. The road to being a man is not an easy one. But your actions are life-lasting. So define your saying. Define yourself. Define your name. Because that is what's required to put that little acronym called Mr. And that is also one of the keys of the rite of passage from a little boy, from a man. Each one to each one. So, I'm knocking on 45. I hope you guys have a blessed weekend. Stop running from yourself. When you decide to stop doing this, you will start to see your blessings be manifested in your life. But the price that must be paid is authenticity. Stop doing what your girlfriends are doing. Because you got to remember something. That's how that spiritual energy is. It's like-minded. Or in other words, brothers of a flutter flock together. And if you're gravitating towards negativity, it only can gravitate towards the things it knows. So that means there's something within you need to change. But if you don't complain. You're doing yourself an injustice. But we have free will. So, I'm going to get off my soapbox. If you have anybody that may need this video, by all means send it out. If you guys have any questions, drop them right here. But if it's on a personal nature and you want to discuss it and you want sound advice, by all means, you can hit me up on Google Plus. I'm there. I've got a page there. You'll see my face with the clouds. But look, y'all, all I'm trying to say is this. Stop allowing your past to define your future. So what, you made mistakes. It only has relevance when you claim it. If that is not who you are, then you claim that it's not who you are. I don't care if you was a known drug dealer or a prostitute on the street. If that is not who you are, you define that. But you defined it when you do not acknowledge it with your life. Okay? Okay, I hope you guys have a safe and blessed and protected weekend. And by all means, bundle up. I got a feeling this is going to be a very, very cold winter. And Mother Nature is showing it. She's definitely showing it. But as I always say, God is praying for you. You know I am. It is now time for you to change. Do not have fear. Because when you embrace your courage and start working on you, you will have the peace that you deserve. God's praying for you. You know I am. Have a blessed and protected week. Bye.